Hello everybody, thank you for joining me again today. Today I want to talk about a piece of footage that was uploaded on January 27th of 2014, sometimes known as the Alberta footage. It was uploaded by YouTuber FoxRF600. Goes on to say, out for a walk at the river's edge, we saw this before we got the video on it. It had walked a few feet, looked back at us, and then crouched down. Here's the clip.
That is not a human. Oh my god.
Okay, obviously a very interesting piece of footage. It's got both its naysayers and its doubters about it. One of the things that a lot of people like to bring up is the comment by the little girl where she says something to the nature of that it's not human. I think I'll play it again.
Not a human.
Okay, she says that. Let me play it one more time.
That is not a human.
Now, a lot of people point to that, the little girl saying that that's not a human, as obvious evidence of some kind of overt hoax. Now, I do not, and it's, I tend to put very little weight in the reactions of human beings in these videos. I want to look specifically at what I see in the footage. It's very hard to tell. It's very hard to kind of anticipate how a human being is going to react when they encounter one of these creatures, or how they're going to react when they're trying to perpetrate a hoax. It may seem obvious, but you cannot take that as conclusive evidence. Now, here's the same clip, stabilized. Kind of gets up, walks off into the background, lumbers off, and then disappears into the brush. Now, it's an interesting piece of footage, I have to admit. I've been kind of going back and forth on this one for quite a while. Honestly, I can't find anything in here that would, allow me to take a look at this and say it's obviously a hoax. But at the same time, I don't see enough of it for me to conclusively say that it's a real Sasquatch. All I can say is that it's very interesting. It does have some things that very much intrigue me. Now, in the process of taking a look at any piece of footage, I do the normal things. I stabilize it, I try to enhance it, and do the best I can to bring out any more detail that would give me some kind of an idea of what I'm looking at. Like a lot of pieces of footage, there's really only so much you can do because of the distance away from the camera and the zoom levels involved. You can only clean this up so much to get more distance out of it. Now, I've zoomed this in here about 195%. And of course, when you do that, it tends to fuzz things up. You can still see some detail about it. Now, I've added some clarity back through some different processes, but still, there's really only so much you can do. Now, one thing that's always impressed me about this footage is the apparent size. I mean, looking at this thing looks absolutely massive. Just massive. I think it would be very difficult for somebody in a suit or in many, many layers of clothing to imitate the size of this thing. I mean, it looks gigantic. Now, of course, that's just an observation based on what I'm seeing here. It's not any kind of conclusive evidence because you can't measure it. There's nothing out here that has a known width, a known distance, or anything that we can measure against what the size of this object looks like. Now, another thing that really impresses me about this piece of footage is the apparent length of the arm. Now, there obviously isn't enough here for me to do any kind of a detailed limb proportion analysis. I don't see enough of the legs to do that. But just on what you can see the length of this arm hanging down here. It appears to hang down almost the full length of the creature. I mean, obviously you can't see how long the legs go down, but that does look like to be a very long arm. And then as it's walking back in the bush, you can see the other arm right there. Not only the length of the arm, but the massive width and size of the arm is very apparent there. And very impressive. So this is one of those ones where I have to say, like I said, I'm impressed with the footage. There is not enough for me here to say conclusively that this is 100% a Bigfoot. I see no sign of hoaxery in the footage. It's obviously not, any kind of, misidentification of a bear or any other wild animal. It's obviously walking bipedally. Definitely not pareidolia or anything like that. I would have to put this one down into the maybe category. This may very well be a Sasquatch. Of course, like I said, there's not enough there for me to 100% say for sure that this is a Bigfoot. But to me, it looks very impressive. Well, that's it for this time. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit me up over at Facebook. And as always, have a great day.